You know, as professional performers, we're really not that good. But as a rabbi and a priest, we're actually hilarious.
Oh, you're great. Absolutely. So, when is Hanukkah this year?
December 23rd. So we got the day before Christmas Eve, we got the first candle.
What is Hanukkah? Explain it to me.
Hanukkah is basically the suck-up holiday because of Christmas. That's really what it is. It's a minor little Jewish holiday that isn't even in the Bible. There's nothing in the Bible about Hanukkah. It celebrates the victory of the Hasmoneans over the Syrian Greeks because of their repression of the Jewish community in the year 165 before the Common Era. And after the Hasmoneans won, they became theocratic bastards. So the fact is that there's really nothing to celebrate about Hanukkah. But here was the basic deal. We encountered a world in which there's 2 billion Christians, and as everyone knows, I say it often, about 57 Jews. Yeah. And your kids go down the street and they see these beautiful Christmas trees and homes with Santas and reindeer and so the marketing department of Judaism had to basically gear up. So here's what we said. And they basically didn't put the bucks behind the marketing campaign. That was the problem. They hired a guy named Murray who, said, okay, we got to counter Ave Maria and Silent Night, okay? He comes up with, I had a little dreidel, I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, O dreidel, I will play. Yeah. This he thought was going to wipe out Silent Night and Ave Maria. This is what Murray thought.
Yeah.
Then you say, well, we got the Christmas tree problem.
Sure.
Beautiful colored lights and the smell and the pine and presents and little Gentile kids in foot pajamas coming down. It's just really amazing thing. So what are we going to do to counter that? So Murray says, I got it. We got these little candle holders right. with these little just ridiculous candles that when you put them in they snap and half of them aren't even there and they never fit into the menorah.
No.
And then we light them one each night.
Right.
That'll wipe out the Christmas tree, he said. So, people have this view that we're so savvy in business and know what we're doing. I just present to you Hanukkah and Christmas.
Yeah.
One of the great religious marketing failures of all time.
I think you got sort of even when I bought this watch, though. So it doesn't celebrate anything. Well, yes, of course it does.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
When the Maccabees had a victory over the Seleucid Greeks, and they conquered the Temple Mount and rededicated it. The special oil that was to burn in the 7-branched menorah was discovered, and there wasn't enough oil for the time it would take to consecrate new oil. So they burned what they had. They thought it would last for one day, and it lasted for 8 days, and that's the miracle of Hanukkah.
Oh, okay.
And we celebrate that. Really, it's actually a holiday that does have the same themes as Christmas. It's a holiday of hope and rededication and light and the time of darkness. So there are themes that of course are powerful and important, and then of course there's all the presents.
We're talking with Rabbi Mark Gelman and Monsignor Tom Hartman. Do you guys still call yourself the God Squad?
Well, people call us that, and it's kind of hard to, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't like it. We know you've never liked it.
Well, I don't.
They can call themselves Penn and Teller. One guy does all the talking, and the other guy just sits there.
We're going to get to Father Tom now. So, Father Tom, what is Christmas all about?
Well,
what is Christmas?
You have a little thing here. I don't know what it is. It's on the other side.
Yeah.
It's Danish.
Danish residue.
It's really disconcerting. It's very hard to take a Monsignor seriously with food on his face.
Well,
other than that, you look very good this morning, by the way.
Thank you.
Very hunky. So.
Thank you.
So Christmas is what?
Well, just as Hanukkah is, in many respects, a smaller Jewish holiday, Christmas and Easter are the two biggest Christian holidays. And it celebrates the idea that God loved us so much that God became one with us, so that we would always know that we were never alone. And God came simply. You might expect that if you were God creating the story, you would come in riches and lavishness, but God chose to come in a stable and was really, in many ways, neglected. And so for Christians, when we feel as though we're all alone, when we're forgotten, the presence of God is there. And as Mark said before, there's hope. We're all looking for something to hold on to, someone to love. And Christmas is that time, because the child becomes an adult and the child gives his life. And that's what we celebrate.
Jesus wasn't actually born on December 25th, was he, or was he?
No, probably Jesus was born sometime in March. But what happened is the Romans had the sun god feast, and the Christians decided to celebrate. They had to celebrate with the Romans the sun god feast, and we decided our sun was S-O-N, the Son of God.
You know what used to confuse me and Charles was somewhere in the New Testament where it talks about Jesus being born, because they jerked around with the calendar. Jesus being born 4 AD or BC.
Right. So
Yeah.
this would be Christmas 1993 this year.
It's confusing, isn't it? It's a little bit.
Well, yeah, it was a Gregorian calendar, and actually...
Hey, you know what Rock Newman was trying to tell me yesterday? That Jesus wasn't white. You believe that?
No, I don't think Jesus was white either.
Huh?
I mean, he was from the Mideast.
He had a tan.
Ernie, you hear this?
He had a little tan. Come on.
Yeah, actually, Jesus was probably born someplace between 4 and 6 BC and died someplace around 28
No.
CE, as Mark would say.
Yeah, Jesus was a Semitic-looking guy. He was Jewish. He had swarthy complexion. I mean, might have had a large nose, might have worn a bow tie, might have probably, he wore a yarmulke, probably. He had dark hair. Certainly didn't have blonde hair, blue eyes like the Jesuses of all the pictures. And so, you know, if you're
But he
just
didn't
trying to
come from
pick out
Milwaukee.
who Jesus really looked like between the two of us, hello, my son.
But the question is, Mark, who did Jesus act like?
That is
you got
kinky.
me there, oh living saint.
And as Kinky says, they make
Well,
Jews like Jesus anymore. So.
You know, that's a very misunderstood song, you know.
Yeah, I know it is.
I like Kinky, and
Yeah.
a lot of people think he's just...
It's a pro-Jewish song.
Yes.
As is Ride 'em Jew Boy, by the way.
Absolutely. The only song ever written about the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what will you guys do? What will you do this Christmas, Father Tom?
Well, my family, get together with my family. That's a big time for all of us. But before that, I go out to this retreat house and I celebrate Mass there. It's a small group of people who gather. And there's something about Christmas Eve that's very special to me. Now, I grew up in a home in which you first go to church and then you open up your gifts later on. And because my parents were trying to tell me that the greatest gift we ever have in life is God. And God isn't that far from any of us. So I'm going to celebrate Mass first and then open up the gifts.
There are some Jews who stick up Christmas trees, huh?
Yeah, and I'd like their names. I'll tell you why I want their names. Because we have now large, heavily muscled Jews. Guy named Moish.
Yeah.
Big Moish, we call him.
Yeah, sure.
Big Moish is going around, and if he knows you're Jewish, and whether you've been naughty or nice, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he comes to your house, you have a Christmas tree. You're going to have to deal with Moish. No, it's really the wrong thing. The thing is, you should have joy and gladness in your neighbor's holiday. I used to decorate Christmas trees at my neighbor's house, and it was a joyous thing to participate in his Christmas celebration with his family. And then I would return to my miserable little menorah. and I never had any guilt about it, never any anxiety. I never had any envy that he had a beautiful, lush Christmas tree with those little colored water with the light, the bubbles that go up. They don't even make them. They're probably illegal now, but...
We have jalapeno peppers on ours.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
Like
it.
kind of a southwestern situation.
You know, we just returned from Poland. Tommy and I were on a plane for 24 hours, just returned yesterday. And we have a Christmas Hanukkah story.
May I do some commercials and then you can?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, they might care.
Yes.
No, go
They would
ahead.
have some place to go.
They're fine.
We're not going.
You guys still appear on Good Morning America?
We do.
Yes, we do.
It's a real loser proposition over there, though. I mean, some way we can get you out of there and get you on the Today Show. Well, you're on this show.
That's it.
Yeah.
But 3 times as many people listen to the show as watch. They're hideous.
Right.
Why are you rolling your eyes?
Well, because they're trying, and I think Lisa McCree is good, and I think they're making good moves.
No, I don't want
We have a
to.
good new producer on the Sunday show. And
We shouldn't disparage them with you here and embarrass you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
that's all right.
I do
That's all
suck.
right. That's right.
You're
We
Don't
can
take
recover.
it. They suck. Don't take
Would you
one.
like to go to confession now?
And that'll take a while. 3 years ago today, we were, me and Chuck, Father Tom, a bunch of other folks,
Right.
were out in an Indian reservation in Utah where I got married. And Father Tom was there, and Father Tom didn't actually marry us, but this Protestant, this Indian Navajo minister from Tuba City, Arizona, who appeared to me to be drunk.
I don't think that's ridiculous.
He wasn't, was he?
Of course not.
No, I wasn't drunk.
I know, but I was so nervous I paid him twice. No, you should have been there.
I told you. I couldn't be there. I couldn't be there for 2 reasons.
One, you didn't want to be.
It was the Sabbath, and I didn't want to be. Those were the
He had a gig.
Anyway, it was fun, wasn't it, kind of? I'm glad. I'm happier today than I was then. I was pretty happy then. So.
You know, I remember that day very clearly, and I'm just proud of what you did, and even more proud of the love you speak to all of us about faithful love to Deirdre.
Let's not get sickening here. But I have something to tell you, by the way, later. It's a quarter till the hour here on the Imus Morning program. The more from the priest and rabbi coming up.
Imus in the morning.
98.1 The Peak, WPEK.
For any occasion, give the gift of nature with help from the Embassy Flowers and Nature's Gifts. Located at 1922 Augusta Street across from Applebee's in Greenville. Frank Ogletree and the staff at the Embassy offer a personal touch with unique arrangements of beautiful fresh flowers and plants.
Till the hour, and I am Imus Morning, and we're at the World Trade Center on the observation deck. And it's a whole thing sponsored by the people from Norelco. The people from Norelco have been great. I mean, they gave me a check for $10,000 for the CJ Foundation for SIDS and Tomorrow's Children's Fund. Plus, they gave. I mean, I didn't even ask them to do that. So, and we're talking with the priest and rabbi, Rabbi Mark Gelman and Monsignor Tom Hartman, and the rabbi's book, be sure, what is it?
Always wear clean underwear.
Which, by the way, I read a lot of.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did, because they're cute little stories. And first he talks about an old expression, and then what you think it means, and then what it really means. It's very clever.
Like eat your vegetables or...
It's very clever. It was very cute.
Thanks.
It's published by William Morrow. It's a great book to read to a kid. It's a great book.
Thanks.
So you guys, now you went to Poland, and you have a great, and you just got back.
Right. You know, this was really a wonderful thing. One of the last times we were on, we were telling about our project where we're sending medical equipment to Poland and to Ukraine. We're sending mammography units, chest x-ray units, and medicine. And we had offers of 29 medical radiographic imaging units after our last appearance that we've now made arrangements to ship. So if people have medical equipment, we're trying to begin a project of healing that can begin to heal not just Jews and the people of Eastern Europe, where there's such enormous wounds and resentment, but also to try and help recover the last survivors of the Holocaust, which are really the scrolls and the objects, the Jewish ritual objects that are now surfacing in Eastern Europe. So we've been able to redeem some Torahs. We were able to give a 500-year-old Torah to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, and we were able to recover this week a Torah that was hidden in the Lodz ghetto, which was a place in Poland where Jews were brought and then sent to Auschwitz. And one of the people who came there came with a historic scroll. It was written on deerskin, not sheepskin. The scroll is brown and not white, and the letters are black on brown. It's the most dramatic and extraordinary Torah. He brought it from his community, and when he knew he was going to be sent to Auschwitz, he gave the Torah to a Christian family. And they kept the Torah for all the years since the war, until now. One family waiting for him to return, or from someone from his village to return and claim their Torah. And every Christmas season and every Hanukkah season, they would hope and pray that someone would come and receive the Torah. And we came, and not from his village, but we've taken the Torah to now distribute to the world, and so that it would go out of darkness and into light. So that story of a Christian family helping to preserve a Torah from a Jewish community that was destroyed is, I think, the most wonderful and important story for this holiday season.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
That kind of faithfulness and that kind of love can exist, and they wanted nothing, and for 30 years they just kept the scroll.
Wow, that is nice.
That is.
Now, one of the things that strikes me as a Christian is the rift in the Jewish community between the different factions is another aspect of these trips. We hope to be able to bring out a couple more Torahs and then give them as gifts to the Orthodox community, the Hasidic community, the conservative community, because what Mark and I are trying to do is not so much be isolated about this, but to be inclusive. And so not only do we hope that these scrolls which have been in darkness come into the light, but that they be a blessing rather than a curse to the Jewish community. So the rest of the Torahs will be coming out over the course of the next year, and there are hundreds of them.
Either one of you or both of you have a final thought on the holidays?
I think of two things. A lady called me yesterday and said, I have a neighbor. She has multiple sclerosis. She's a single parent. She has 3 kids and has no money. Could you help her have a Christmas? At this Christmas season, I pray for those who can't afford to give gifts to each other, but want to. And secondly, I met a man this morning who I was coming out of 7-Eleven, and he just said, you Father Tom? I said, yeah. He said, I'm searching. I'm not sure where I am, but I'm going toward God.
Here's one of the coasters.
Searching.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I just looked at him, and
This is not a song lead. This is a holy man here.
I'm sorry.
Come on, let's have some respect.
And I wanted to say to him, and I did say to him, you know, when you're searching, you're on your way. Don't give up. And if you keep searching through the year, you'll find something deep and rich. My prayer is for those who are without and those who are searching at this Christmas season.
God bless.
God bless both of you. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. The Rabbi and the priest and Rabbi, Monsignor Tom Hartman, Rabbi Mark Gelman here in the Imus Morning Program. It's 4 minutes till the hour.
Imus in the morning.
98.1 The Peak, WPEK.
Beyond the call.
This time it's 5 minutes past the hour, and we are on the observation deck, 107 stories up.
Good Lord.
Here at the World Trade Center.
You're uncomfortable, aren't you?
And I absolutely hate being up here, and I hate being sitting right next to I just hate it. And I just wish I could go home. I just don't like it. It was a stupid idea. I don't like being here. I don't like sitting right to the edge of this thing. And anything could happen. It could, who knows?
What if the thing just, you just suddenly felt it?
Yes, I know.
Like
I mean,
that?
it's just, I don't like it.
Cool, huh?
And every time I look out, my stomach starts to it's a very icky, fraidy, scared deal. This is all sponsored, this stupid idea, all sponsored by Norelco, and we're pretty happy about them. And they're giving away a bunch of prizes, plus the Tri-State Jeep and Eagle people are giving away my Jeep. We're going to do that here in a few minutes. Somebody who is here in the audience is going to win my Grand Cherokee Laredo 1997 model.
Right.
I believe.
I think
black
so.
on black, has about 2,500 miles on it. It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Jeep, yeah. And then everybody's won these Norelco Reflex Action Razors, which are a turquoise buffalo edition.
Mm-hmm.
This is some deal I cooked up with my brother. And there are, I guess, 100 of them, and I have this is a limited edition deal. I have a little logo on the back. It's one of 100.
It's a collectible.
It could be a very important item, and they're actually good razors. I use it. I actually do use it. So somebody's going to win a Jeep, and there'll be 19 other prizes, each valued over $500. I don't know what that is, but it could be good stuff. And I would want to remind you that Jeep is the official vehicle of the Imus in the Morning program. Blind Mississippi White Boy Pig Feast to Pre is coming up in just a little bit, and there isn't a whole lot of news going on, is there? Except,
there's a lot of stuff. Quite a bit.
The president had a news conference yesterday, and
President had a news conference, right?
Charles has all of the national news.
Got it all, babe. Got it all.
So he's going to do that now. Good morning, Chuck.
Got the whole thing.
Okay.
Not leaving anything out.
Okay.
Nothing.
Fine.
Interior Secretary Bruce Babbitt says he was out of the loop, though, in the decision to deny this casino license to the 3 Indian tribes, the Chippewas. In an interview with the Washington Post, Babbitt also says White House inquiries about the case, he didn't have anything to do with them. They were all taken care of by his subordinates. So it never got up to him.
Right.
He said, don't blame me. Tribes involved in another casino operation donated $300,000 to the Democrats, and Republicans charged that there was some influence. And
You're
that
kidding.
therefore, as a matter of fact.
No.
President meets today with black farmers whose bias claims against the Agriculture Department are coming to a head. Department has acknowledged past discrimination, but hundreds of complaints are still outstanding. A federal judge has set a Friday deadline for resolving a lawsuit by the farmers.
We need some new hose.
Excuse me? Some new holes. Well, I guess so. Well, where did that come from?
Black farmers. Then.
Just be quiet. God almighty. Be quiet. We have enough problems in that area. Go ahead, Charles.
Goodyear Tire and Rubber Eye Man are on a rocky road with the black leadership of this country.
What did they do?
Now the chairman of the tire company has given a written apology to the head of the NAACP. The apology is for a very controversial television commercial that was shown for 5 days in Peru last January. Spanish language ad showed 2 men standing in front of a big stack of tires. A black man points to the abdomen of a man of indeterminate race in the ad and jokes that it looks like a spare tire. At which point, the other actor points to the black man's lips and compares them to tires. The ad was yanked, and the Peruvian agency that produced it was fired. NAACP Chairman Kawesi Mfume not amused.
Well, didn't somebody sign off on this?
Somebody did. So, I mean, well, that's why Goodyear has written the letter of apology.
Oh, okay.
Mfume says he accepts the apology, but expects Goodyear to make some kind of amends to a lot of people who were offended by it, and rightly so.
Stop making tires look like people's lips. That's another thing they could do. Right?
That's just stupid.
Yeah, I know.
You're part of the problem.
No, I'm not.
You're
but
not part of the solution.
No, I'm not doing stuff like that. I think that's outrageous. And I mean, for Goodyear to claim, I don't think an apology is good enough.
Well, that's what either does Mfume, who wants
I mean,
some kind of a better gesture than that.
Either that or don't apologize,
That's right.
It was lame now.
Speaking of the president's news conference, the campaign fundraising controversy came up yesterday during the last scheduled news conference of the year by Mr. Clinton. He was asked about his relationship with FBI Director Louis Freeh, who favored the special counsel to look into the president and vice president's fundraising activities. The president's answer, he didn't really give one.
I think there's been too much back and forth on that, and I don't want to get into it.
Right.
What I have confidence in is that we all work on trying to make the American people safer and continue to try to drive the crime rate down and solve crime problems. The American people will feel that they're getting out of all of us what they paid for and what they expect from us. And that's what I think we should be doing. I don't think it's a very fruitful thing to try to keep spinning that around.
No, absolutely not. The FBI director, in other words, sucks. I hope he resigns. Get out.
Basically, that probably
disloyal little schmuck.
It's a pretty accurate reflection of the
essentially what he meant,
president's- The president also denied that his second term has been listless in any way, or that he is a lame duck or acting as one. And he got around to a bit of news that most reporters wanted: the name of the new first pet.
Our family got together. We came down to about 7 names, many of them personally inspired, and then to 3. I finally decided to name the dog after my beloved uncle who died earlier this year.
Right.
I'm going to call the dog Buddy.
Nor did he call the dog the name that Tim Russert had suggested that he would be calling the dog.
Well,
he announced on MSNBC the
fine.
name Luke, that of Russert's young and terrific son, Luke.
Right.
Russert later said in an astonishing statement that one of the final names being considered was Luke.
Right.
After he had reported earlier that he had this big scoop that they broke into regular programming.
No, they didn't.
They broke into regular programming.
They broke into regular programming on MSNBC like a bulletin, like the Scuds were on the way.
Exactly.
Right.
Tim Russert.
Right. Yeah. And said what?
Chief of the Washington NBC News Bureau, host of NBC's Meet the Press,
Right.
the fabled and longest-running television program ever.
Fine.
Tim Russert.
We know.
Luke.
Why do we want to hammer him? Isn't he our friend?
Of course he's our friend.
Yeah. Doesn't he appear on the program?
Absolutely,
Okay.
he appears on the program.
Didn't he stand by me in a time of turmoil?
And aren't we standing by him today? Of course
Yes.
we
Well,
are.
then why do we have to belabor this all morning?
Because it is important to point out these kinds
He was
of
wrong
things
about
can
the
happen.
name. That was all.
He was flat out wrong. You're
Well,
absolutely correct.
I don't think he went on too much about it. Do we have that tape?
Didn't go on.
Does MSNBC have that tape?
Yeah, we still have it.
Well, let's run the tape. You can listen to it on the radio.
Sure can.
Here we go.
Well, it's a decision that the president has said is his and his alone to make, and everybody's been waiting for it. What's he going to name that dog of his? Tim Russert has been sniffing around and apparently has the scoop on everybody here. Tim, what do we know?
Well, Mary, here we go. I believe that the name of the dog is Luke, L-U-K-E, which happens to be the name of my son. It is a very tightly guarded secret. Only 3 people at the White House know. But through a series of questions, both on and off Capitol Hill, the White House, and a whole variety of sources, I believe that the name of the dog is Luke.
Tim, isn't that a little anticlimactic? I mean, haven't we had all kinds of...
Anticlimactic? It means enlightened one. It's the name of my 12-year-old.
Well, aside from that, I mean, there have always been these upticks.
Name. It's a great name,
yeah,
Mary. What are we going to call the dog, Mary?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, now lash him out at her.
Right.
Well, that would have been just as right. Let's shut this off. That's enough of that.
That is enough.
Now, Mary would have been just as correct, wouldn't it?
Yes, it certainly would have.
Not only is he wrong, he gets a tood.
Absolutely. Is arguing with her about it.
Sure. Getting cranky.
Well, that's a very ugly moment there.
Luke means enlightened one. Then we know why Russert's name isn't Luke.
So not only was his kid mortified over this whole Jeopardy incident, which we've been over a couple of times, now he's had to endure this. So, well, you see, here's what makes it bad, is that CNN had it right.
Yeah.
And we had it wrong.
And we thought, as you explained, that we would be able to hammer CNN today.
I planned all morning to hammer CNN about how they don't get anything right. You can't trust their news. I mean, I had a whole deal. And so not only is he wrong, but it washes off on us. And
you are a victim.
Absolutely, in this whole thing.
Once again, man.
And he calls me while I'm off the air to, and leads me through this whole scenario about how he found out.
Oh, man.
Telling me how stupid they are, how they can't keep any secrets there at the White House. These are the people we're trusting with all the secrets of the free world? No, well, okay. Yeah, they're the ones, Tim.
Yeah.
But what speaks badly about all of this is that somebody's jerking his chain. Because he told me that several people said to him, I think at the White House Christmas party or someplace, this guy's the Washington Bureau Chief, NBC News, host of Meet the Press. Not some schmuck like Wolf Blitzer.
It's hardly a lightweight.
Yeah, it's hardly some lightweight.
That's unfortunate.
They said to him, Tim, you're really going to love the name. So, he's racking his brain there, and he calls back and talks to somebody and says, is it Luke? And they said, how'd you find out? Just continuing to reel him in there,
Who told you that?
And he just bought into it like it was on sale.
And then suddenly he's breaking down the doors of the studio
absolutely.
to get on the air.
Busting in on regular programming. This big bulletin calling me.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Give me where's the camera?
And then you want to hammer him.
No, I'm not.
And he's our friend.
Yes, I
and
understand
he was
that.
one of the people. Greenfield, Brokaw, Rather, a couple of them
Stood up for the I-man.
Carville. They were the people who stood with the I-man in my time of crisis.
Right, when all of us abandoned you.
Yeah, well, no, you didn't. But I mean, I think I think that we have to stand with him in this, you know.
Well, we can stand with him, but let's just drop back a couple of paces, so you know what I'm saying?
It's a quarter after the hour here in the Imus Morning program. For the first time, this from our friend John Carmody's column in the Washington Post this morning. For the first time since the competition began in 1981, CBS's Face the Nation beat ABC's This Week in the Sunday morning news talk race in the Washington, D.C. area, which is apparently crucial for them. NBC's Meet the Press with the dope continues to be the #1 rated Sunday morning news program, you know, with a 4.2, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But Face the Nation had a 3.8. Now, it used to be, I know these numbers may not mean much, they're probably tedious, and it's about like me talking about Whittaker Chambers, but Meet the Press used to have like a 4.2, 4.3, and Face the Nation would have a 1.8.
Right.
So it's a dramatic increase for Face the Nation, where, you know, they're 0.4 of a point behind Meet the Press, so good for them. Now, who knows what's happened over there at This Week? I guess since Brinkley left, that thing is now hosted by Cokie Roberts and Sam. I mean, nobody's watching, apparently.
As Carmody
I just don't understand it.
As Carmody put it this past week, it was NBC back on top, but CBS Evening News was firmly in second place again, with ABC all alone again in third and still looking puzzled. They can't figure it out.
It's 17 after the hour, and here now on the Imus in the Morning program, my second favorite blues singer, blind Mississippi white boy Pig Fees.
Morning, boy.
How are you, blind?
I'm doing all right. You know, there's a lot about me you don't know.
There is.
For instance, you didn't know I was Jewish, did you?
No, blind, I did not know that.
My inside name is Blind Tel Aviv Jew Boy Kishkis Rabinowitz. But you can call me Yanko. I used to have a whole bunch of Jewish blues bands, Room Full of Jews, the Jews Project.
Jews McGoos, I know. Whole thing.
Little Shlomo and the Rabbis of Soul.
Yeah.
And the Whittaker Chambers Jazz Experience.
What you got for us this morning?
I got the Hanukkah blues, boy.
Man, I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, I can tell.
Right. Here we go.
Well, I'm wailing on my harmonica, even though it is my favorite time of year. It just don't feel like Hanukkah, 'cause my sweet little Bubba isn't here. In her woolen support stockings and her orthopedic shoes, I got them no potato latkes or kiddies playing with their tchotchkes. I miss my Yiddish grandmama blues. Won't be lighting no menorah or spinning that little dreidel top. Won't be dancing no crazy horror or drinking that serotonin soda pop. Got a woeful feeling from my yarmulke right down to my shoes. I got them, it's the Festival of Lights, but I won't last the whole 8 nights, 'cause my grandma's in the Golan Heights. I miss my Yiddish grandmama blues. Ain't gonna be no chicken liver, noodle kugel or pastrami, 'cause my favorite grandma Sadie went and joined the Israeli army. Don't feel like celebrating a miracle that happened to Judah and their Maccabees, 'cause my grandma's over in Israel and she's marching with that infantry. So B.B. King ain't got a thing on old B.B. Netanyahu, 'cause though it seemed to be a little queer, us Hebrews been through the whole schmear, been suffering for a couple thousand years. Do we got the right oy vey is mere? Ain't nobody can sing the blues like us Jews.
Bye, Mississippi white boy Pig Fees Dupree. With them Hanukkah blues, it's 19 after the hour. We're talking with Bernadette Castro. She's the New York State Parks Commissioner.
Yep.
Did you meet Pat O'Brien?
Yeah, I did. I said hi to Pat.
Do I just sit here now, or what's the deal?
No, we're talking with Miss Castro. She's
know.
our guest. You know, when Nelson Rockefeller unfortunately passed away, it was in his manner.
I just don't like where this is headed.
No,
do you know what I'm saying?
They didn't want to have the EMS people show up with Governor Rockefeller in bed with this woman.
Let's talk about the Doris Duke Foundation, who just gave us $5 million.
They propped him up in a chair.
Oh, jeez.
They stuck a copy of the Wall Street Journal on his lap, but they put the shoes on the wrong feet.
Don,
and
the paper was upside down.
The paper was upside down. And by the way, the thing I mentioned before, they couldn't get it down.
Stop it!
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
I thought you'd like to know this
I don't want to know this stuff.
Why would you walk in here, the three of us? Why any woman would walk into this room and say, this ought to be fun. Suicide. Let's go on the Imus show.
Imus in the morning.
98.1 The Peak. WPEK.
You've been nice all year long, so Santa's going to bring you that new computer, right? Or maybe he already brought you one, and you just need an internet service that hasn't been naughty. One that's nice. How about one that actually works? Just give the folks at MindSpring a call. MindSpring will make it easy for you this holiday season. They're waiving the $25 startup fee through December 31st. Hey, they'll even throw in your first 30 days free from the day you sign up. And who doesn't want to save money at this time of year? You'll get what you need with MindSpring. MindSpring is fast, easy, and there are no delays in signing up or signing on. Give MindSpring a call, toll-free, 1-888-M-SPRING, to get going with the internet service that's proven all the others wrong. The internet should be easy, not a hassle. Internet service plans start at just $6.95 a month with unlimited access for only $19.95. And MindSpring even has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So save $25 and get your first 30 days free this holiday season. And remember, Santa loves email. That's 1-888-M-SPRING. Tell him a little elf sent ya.
Fourth at this time and place, here's Warner.
Did you say water?
You bastard.
Good morning, Warner.
Good morning. Thank you, man.
Warner.
Thank you very much. All right, Dean Smith, who retired this year, has been named Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. Mike Tyson was runner-up. By the way, does Carolina miss Dean Smith? No! They're 11-0 without him. Who needs him? No wonder he retired. Speaking of Carolina, National Hockey League last night, another sitting room overflow crowd in Greensboro. 7,000 squeezed into the 20,000-seat Coliseum. Carolina beat Ottawa 2-1. After the game, they asked a Carolina fan why he goes to the games.
Hey, there aren't too many places where you can have your own personal vendor. And the players know your
Warner,
name.
you idiot.
What are you doing?
How was he able to do that?
I don't know. He's a genius.
Ventriloquist.
Jesus, God.
Another example of the penalty doesn't fit the crime. 2 weeks ago, the league's leading scorer, Mike Modano of Dallas, was hit by Edmonton's Brian Marchmont. Injured his knee on the play. He'll be out a month and a half. While Marchmont was fined $1,000 and suspended only 3 games without pay. Change the rule. That's it. When you cause the injury, you're out for as long as the guy you injure.
Excellent.
That's it. That's the rule. Change it. Come on. NBA last night, then you hurt that guy next to you, you're out. NBA last night, the Knicks beat the Pistons 83-78. Ewing at 31. Here's Gus Johnson and Walt Frazier.
6 turnovers for Detroit. Inside Ewing. Wheels in traffic again. The fadeaway jump shot is good.
A rejuvenated Ewing. Vintage Patrick Ewing right now. A juggernaut in the paint area.
Elsewhere, here's a rarity. The Clippers 4-20 lost, and Denver 2-20 lost. And Toronto 2-21 had a great night. They didn't play. Change the rule.
Shut up.
If you can't win 6 games by the halfway mark, you're out. The season's over. Get him out of here. You're messing up the rest of the league. The Lakers beat the Wolves 109-96. Eddie Jones had 32. Here's Wolves play-by-play man Kevin Harlan.
Caught by Garnett, back to the basket, shimmies in the paint, fades away in the baseline, jump shot, good, and a foul! When you do the Watusi, baby, you gotta dance, and Garnett just danced up a storm.
And how much do the Lakers miss Shaquille O'Neal? They're 10-5 without him.
Who needs him?
Who needs him, right? And finally, no more slam dunk contest for the NBA All-Star Game. Today, the NBA will rule out the contest, saying the contest has lost its appeal after 14 years. The NBA has replaced it with the players' favorite, a new contest, the Coach Choking Contest. For Imus in the Morning Sports, this is Warner Wolf.
Warner Wolf here in the Amsterdam program. It is 30 minutes past the hour. Well, I feel, I do feel remorseful, and I feel guilty about allowing you to beat up on poor Tim Russett all morning, who I was watching the president's news conference on MSNBC.
Right.
And poor Mr. Russett came on after this and had, because, you know, he'd broken in earlier in the day.
Oh, yeah,
the big
I know.
news bulletin.
Oh, yeah.
And big anthrax attack, like, you know.
Came back later with this really, I mean, just pathetic, pitiful attempt to salvage anything out of it, that Luke had been among the last names to be considered, and that couldn't use it because the dog wouldn't respond to it. Now, that's sad. A man of Mr. Rutsert's stature, reduced to that.
I think you just have to. I mean, he did say that he was wrong.
I think you have to go. I think you have to take a leave of absence. That's what I think.
No, I don't know.
I think you have to. You got to do a MARV. You just got to go away for a while.
He didn't bite anybody. He was wrong about the name of the dog. That's all.
Have Pierre Salinger sit in for you for a while.
That's right. Throw it to Pierre.
Well, I'm standing behind Mr. Russert and supporting him in his time of crisis, and I'm not willing to beat on him as you have been doing all morning.
That's an accurate characterization.
Or as the people at MSNBC have been doing all morning by insisting on playing this tape.
Yeah, over and over
again. And so far, it's been played 3 times this morning. I just think
what tape is
that would be that tape where they broke into MSNBC News and announced. I mean, it's just a horrible, humiliating situation. So I don't know. Anyway, is there any other news going on?
No, as a matter of fact.
Not a thing.
One of your friends, Senator Orrin Hatch, is in the news a little bit, who regularly appears on national television, this program, national radio, C-SPAN, what have you.
Yeah.
He made his debut on the Home Shopping Network yesterday.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Senator Hatch on the Home Shopping Network, selling these 2 albums of songs he's written. One album, Freedom's Light, features patriotic songs. The other, My God Is Love, has inspirational music.
Right.
Songs recorded by professional singers and musicians. Hatch said he went on the Home Shopping Network because he couldn't find a national distributor for the albums. Right. And if he makes any money from them, it's going to go to charity, so that's fine.
How many did they sell? I
don't know.
It's actually not bad. It's just typical Christian.
Oh, no, it's
but it's not horrible.
No, not at all.
If that's what your deal is, you know.
Certainly. And the other is purely patriotic songs, which one would hope would be everybody's deal. But
yeah.
So, and news also from the media, a contrite Gary Miller pleaded no contest yesterday to disorderly conduct for urinating from a second-floor window on 2 police officers working at a nightclub in Cleveland.
Well, down in the flats there, yeah.
The ESPN sportscaster was fined $250, had a 30-day jail sentence suspended. The Cleveland judge dismissed charges of public indecency and resisting arrest, part of a plea bargain deal.
We just can't have that.
Gary Miller's the 41-year-old host of Baseball Tonight on ESPN. He agreed to donate $1,000 to the Ronald McDonald House as part of the plea bargain arrangement and expressed deep regret to the judge and said, I look forward to putting this behind me. Well, Gary, I guess so.
Yeah.
Miller of Branford, Connecticut was hired by ESPN in 1990. Off the air for a number of weeks after being arrested, but returned in November.
Maybe Olbermann's right about ESPN.
Maybe so.
Climate there just creates this. One of the more uncomfortable television minutes actually, was the last evening on The Big Show with Keith Olbermann, his interview with Tom Snyder.
Yeah, that was well, I mean, part of the problem was they had some technical difficulty during it.
That was a problem.
But it was awkward. It was uncomfortable for a couple of minutes as they tried to get together. But
well, even after they got together,
I know it continued to be uncomfortable.
It was the whole thing was uncomfortable. And why? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess Snyder's. Well, he's fine.
He's an old friend of the I-Man's, is he not? Sorta.
No. He's not an old friend of mine.
He's a strange man.
Yeah, he is strange. I wrote him a letter once which I don't generally do. But somebody had criticized him, in the New Yorker, had written a vicious review of Mr. Snyder, which I thought was hideously unfair.
Yeah, and gratuitous.
And mean to Tom Snyder, who I don't, at least to my knowledge, has not been mean to anyone.
No, he's a good guy.
And so I wrote Mr. Snyder a letter informing him that of what I thought about that review and suggesting to him that I supported him in his and congratulated him on his new deal, this new talk show that he continues to do, I guess, for CBS that follows the Letterman program.
Yeah.
And I got back from Mr. Snyder one of those audience response cards. Thank you for your interest. A mimeographed deal. Thank you for your interest in the Tom Snyder program, and whatever. So
we'll put you on the list for tickets.
So I found that told me all I needed to know about Tom Snyder.
Not even signed with an auto.
No, nothing. So, and last evening was just provided further confirmation that we're dealing with somebody who apparently is just still angry about something. But who knows what it is?
I don't know.
But it's out there in the air someplace, and
watch it if you got nothing else to do.
But he's not a bad person. No, so it's just not much going on.
He's fine.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's 24 till the hour now.
Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Imus in the morning.
Know why men don't use electric razors? Blame Blade Guy, the tough guy in all of us. Blade Guy doesn't ask for directions. He starts the car and goes. When he cuts himself shaving, he still roughs it with blades. Maybe he should try the Norelco Reflex Action Razor to get close with less irritation than blades after a 21-day adjustment period. If Blade Guy doesn't agree, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee. It's just what Blade Guy needs to stay sharp on his next road trip. The Norelco Reflex Action Razor.
It can take years for a hockey star to make $5 million. Now Norelco gives you the chance to do it in 8 seconds. Enter the Norelco Sweepstakes for the chance to be in the Norelco NHL Super Skills $5 million Challenge during the NHL All-Star Weekend. You'll get 4 pucks to hit 4 targets live on ESPN. Win $1 million for every hit. Hit all 4. Win $5 million. See a Norelco retailer or national magazine ads for official rules. No purchase necessary. Must be U.S. resident between...
It is 19 minutes till the hour, and I am Imus in the morning, and we are here at the World Trade Center on the observation deck, 107 floors up, sitting a foot from the edge of the building, and it's well, I mean, I don't
disconcerting.
I don't like it, except that I've been on top of both of these buildings. And I have been in a window washer cage on the side of it, an open cage, going up and down but I had a camera in my hand, and so it didn't bother me.
You had a mission.
But if I'm just sitting here looking out, it was not a good idea to be here, but it's been okay, and it's all sponsored by Norelco. And Norelco, by the way, has been great throughout this whole deal, and they donated $10,000. I didn't even ask them to. They just voluntarily did, and they didn't have to, by the way. But, I mean, it was... essentially, it was you who insisted.
We may never hear from Russert again. You know, a Judge Crater deal. Anchor person Russert.
I'm talking about Tim Russert, Washington Bureau Chief for NBC News, the host of Meet the Press, which continues to be the #1 Sunday morning talk show. But and after what? After what proved to be an unfortunate appearance on Jeopardy, although I would point out he did win.
He did indeed. Timmy won.
We now have this debacle of interrupting programming on MSNBC yesterday to announce that he had learned the name of the dog.
Right.
And Mr. Russert suggested it was Luke, and seemed particularly pleased because it's also his son's name. And of course, it was revealed later that it was, in fact, not Luke, Buddy.
I don't know what's next, but I suggest that we take an impression of his teeth now. Be ready.
Get a picture of his shoes now.
That's right.
So we wanted to talk to Mr. Russert to see how it's going this morning, and he's not answering the phone. He's not calling us back.
It's not a good sign, is it?
So maybe I think he could maybe be a little angry. Wilford Bremley's here, and he's coming up a little bit. He has a particularly unique way that you all can stuff your turkey.
I'm sure.
And those turkey stuffing instructions will be coming up here in just a little bit. Plus, we're going to open all these boxes in a couple of minutes with all these folks and see who wins the Jeep. And I'm sure that'll be exciting to say you people in Detroit, Philadelphia, and L.A., Tucson, and all these other places, Little Rock,
New York. Because
you're not going to win the Jeep. Some schmuck here is. It's a quarter till the hour. The question is, once the Attorney General recommends the naming of an independent counsel, how many judges are on the panel who actually designate the independent counsel, and who is the chief judge that heads that panel? All right, here's Bruce from Centersville, Virginia. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Iron Man.
How many judges on the panel?
3.
That's exactly right. And who heads the panel?
That I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry, Bruce. You were right. You were half right.
Yeah. You half
win. It's 12 minutes. No, you don't win.
You're half a loser.
You're half a loser. You're a full loser.
Half
Total loser.
You got nothing, yo.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Jim?
I'll say 12.
What you do, idiot? Jim, we just had a guess of 3.
Lakeville, Poland.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Jim. 12. Jesus, God, come on.
A striped bass.
Is that Tim Russell on the phone?
In the morning.
98.1.
Shane here.
Well, you know, I thought about that, but it's not the case.
Oh, okay.
What happened was it was narrowed down to 3 names. Luke was one of them, and the dog wouldn't respond to Luke, and so
very weak.
No. And so I put I put 2 to 2 together and came out with 10, right? And and I was wrong. But the only painful part is my son Luke. And you know what he's thinking today?
No.
You think the president would adopt me? I mean,
Tim, who's on Sunday morning, by the way, on Meet the Press, you know?
Yeah, actually, we're going to have a pretty interesting discussion on religion and values in American life with Mario Cuomo, Jesse Jackson Jr., Reverend Jerry Falwell, and Dr. Laura Schlesinger.
Oh, God, that'll be great.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm standing behind you as you did me, and in your moment of crisis.
And don't forget, the Russians put the first man on the moon.
Tim Russert, Washington Bureau Chief, NBC News, and the host of Meet the President, a very good sport about making a complete, utter fool of himself. All right, all of the people who won tickets to attend this broadcast of the Imus in the Morning program, sponsored by Norelco and your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer, 20 folks had numbers on their ticket that correspond with numbers that were pulled out of some hat or something. They all are standing there holding boxes. In one of the boxes, a Jeep. In the other box are prizes donated by Norelco worth over $500. So y'all open your boxes now. Oh, man, this is so exciting. Look at them. God, that little boxes. Look at them. Some of them are having problems, actually. Maybe it's some Stern listeners got in here. There he is. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Come on over.
How hot is that?
Golly.
Hey. Woo. That's it, too, by the way. That is the Jeep.
That's the same Porsche, same Jeep that I gave to Mike Francesa.
Show. CNN Radio's John Lewis reports from Tokyo.
Special effects on the enormously popular cartoon program Pokemon, or Pocket Monsters, left over 600 viewers complaining of everything from headaches to epileptic-type seizures. That after a scene showing intense red lights emanating from the eyes of one of the rat-like monster characters. Doctors say bright flashing lights can trigger the symptoms, although they are rare. And they add it's even rarer to see such cases on such a large scale. John Lewis, CNN Radio, Tokyo.
Japan's prime minister promising a massive tax reduction, $15 billion to jumpstart that nation's economy. U.S. officials hailing the announcement as a positive beginning. Investors in Tokyo apparently liked what
I'm happier now than I was then, and I was fairly happy then, or I wouldn't have got married.
Right.
So it's turned out to be a good deal. So sometimes they obviously don't. You know?
Certainly.
So, but she's a little sweetheart.
She's the best.
And she lies on the radio, too, when she gets on.
She does not.
About my behavior around the house.
There's not a lie in that woman. Come on.
It's a quarter after the hour here now, and Chuck has more news. What else?
It'll be Connie Chung appearing on Primetime Live tonight. Her first appearance. What?
Bitter little hedgehog. She? Man.
Her first appearance on network television since she was dumped 2.5 years ago as Mr. Rather's co-anchor. Something which the New York Post says left her bitter and defiant.
Yeah.
Ms. Chung admits, she says, I've been a giant pain in the neck around the house. And husband Maury Povich, she said, once kicked her out the door. I doubt he kicked her. She will also make appearances on 2020 and the now third-rated World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. CBS is now solidly in second place this week with NBC number 1
you know,
in the nightly news ratings.
Maybe they could try.
What?
Because you remember, I was one of the people who actually thought it was a good idea to have Dan Rather and Connie Chung co-anchor the news. Remember that? I thought it was a great idea.
Yes. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I was very supportive of it.
Seriously so, enthusiastic.
Not recognizing that, do y'all remember the famous photograph from the Vietnam War, the curbside execution shot where the guy's standing with a gun, you know. That's what it looked like when you watched Dan and Connie do the news. I mean, there was no chemistry there.
The only thing missing from the body language was the pistol.
Yeah, but maybe, and because Peter Jennings is likes the babes anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe the chemistry would be better between them. Why not? As long as the wheels have come off World News Tonight, as long as their ratings now over there are disastrous, not only for World News Tonight, but for the This Week program, which used to be number 1,
yep,
has now fallen not only in third place but behind Face the Nation.
Yep. Absolutely.
Why not have Connie co-anchor the news with Peter? See if that works. Maybe.
Try something.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Maybe that could work this time.
It could.
Maybe just get rid of Peter. Have Connie and Diane Sawyer do it. What would that be? Have 2 babes.
I could get enthusiastic about that.
Or maybe the 2 babes and Peter, like make a sandwich out of Peter Jennings. That kind of deal. Kind of like a menage a news deal.
Call it the Marv Report.
Absolutely. Let them bite on one another, that kind of thing. 17 after the hour. Here, morning program. I'll tell you who else is a bitter little hedgehog. A yapping little mouse over there at the Today Show. And of course, Rob pointed this out to me, how rude Katie Couric was yesterday to both me and Tim Russert.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't even agree to go on to the Today Show with this lame thing they wanted to do about, did anybody have any names for that stupid dog, which I thought that was just, first of all, the whole exercise is transparent and tedious,
yeah.
But and I got a call from Dana saying, if you want to be on, call me back and I'll let them know. Well, I didn't call her back, so that would mean...
You thought that ended it?
I thought that was the end of it. Then I go in yesterday morning, and all of the NBC trucks are there. Mm-hmm. So I graciously agreed to appear on their stupid program, and she insults me, didn't she? And insulted Tim.
She was snippy there.
And was snippy.
And wouldn't let Tim do his material.
He kept talking when Tim was talking. I tried to wish her Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and she goes, yeah.
Yeah.
The bitter little runt. You know, just an evil, tormented little twerp. So I tried to call her yesterday to tell her that I didn't appreciate her snapping at me.
Wouldn't take the call?
No, the little dwarf wasn't there, you know. So apparently she's down at Hurley. Somebody put a beer on her head. And she,
now that's just not necessary.
So I hate her now. Well, I mean, it wasn't necessary. I just, and I was trying to be amusing and
trying to play along.
Sure. Just I
doing them the favor.
Screwed by that little mouse.
What are you gonna do?
It's 19 after yappy little mouse. It's 19 after the hour. Here in the Imus Morning program, Wilford Brentley with some holiday turkey stuff coming up, and maybe salmonella once again with the Christmas, the night before Christmas. So this could be a great power hour here on this that no longer sucks 9 o'clock Eastern Time final hour of the program on the Imus of the Morning program, and we are on the observation deck of the World Trade Center, 107 floors up, sitting about
college in Huntsville, Texas. I was both on the football and basketball team. Might interest you in the basketball team. I played get back. Most basketball teams don't have this, but when they call timeout and everybody stand up and get around the coach, Coach will look at me and say, "Get back on the bench. Get back."
Radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Do you care if I talk to you during the news? I mean,
No,
like you
no, glad to. You know, I was just
It's not like a co-anchor thing. I'm not going to go through that again.
Believe me, I don't want to go through it again either. Believe me. You can take that to the bank, Coach.
Imus in the morning.
98.1 The Peak. WPEK.
Considering new programming guidelines.
Weird, isn't it?
More than 600 Japanese children were hit almost at the same time by spasms and nausea as they watched a hit cartoon show last night because it had an effect of a strobe light flashing, and the characters' eyes seemed to trigger the illness. The eyes flashed, and the kids were watched it. They said it was almost like an epileptic seizure that these kids went into at that point. And disgraced White House advisor Dick Morris, I-Man, was so distraught about his life unraveling that First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton thought he was going to kill himself after his affair with the prostitute, became public, the dog collar deal.
Sucking on his toes.
Yeah. And that Mrs. Clinton called him regularly. Morris says, quote, on one level it was compassion, on another it was pragmatism because they didn't want another
Vince Foster deal.
They did not want another incident.
Yeah.
He says the lowest moment for him was when he saw himself on Primetime Live, was so repulsed by what he saw that, quote, he stuck the gun in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But did not decide to do himself in. Happily so. We would not want to see Mr. Morris take that route out of his problems, would we? No.
Well, no. Why do you even have
not.
to suggest that?
Well, I just thought you were looking at me with a bit of puzzlement.
No, because I know what you're really thinking.
No, I'm not.
No, of course I do.
What, pull the trigger?
Absolutely.
Of course not.
Oh, of
it's
course.
ridiculous. And the city board in Little Rock, Arkansas, won't be raising the so-called hamburger tax to help pay for Bill Clinton's presidential library. The city was thinking about raising its restaurant and hotel tax, which they call a hamburger tax, to purchase the future site for the library. A public uproar stopped the plan, and last night city board members in Little Rock approved using a $22.5 million bond revenue to buy 26 acres for the Bill Clinton Presidential Library.
It is now almost 20 minutes till the hour here on the Imus Morning program, and we're still here atop the World Trade Center. We were going to do it outside, They wanted to do that. They wanted to do it up.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. They wanted to do it up at 110 floors up. We're at 107 floors up now.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Outside?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous.
Back in, it's been a long time ago, but when this thing first opened, I was up there, and I was actually on top of the thing along the edge, and I dropped a lens cap, a Nikon lens cap off the edge of this thing.
4 people were killed. Well,
there's still a crater down there where it fell. All right, here now on the Imus Morning program with the night before Christmas, our old friend,
Sal
Minella.
Right. How you doing, Don?
I'm fine, Sal. How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks a lot. Shut up.
Maybe we could do it this time and not forget the words.
I didn't forget the freaking words. I don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to fix your TV set. I'm talking over here, giving this beautiful Christmas story, and you're worried because you can't see your face on a freaking television set. That's very rude. You talk about Katie Couric. That is rude, my friend.
Well, I apologize, but the clocks went off everything, so.
Gee, it's like time stood still.
Yeah.
It's Christmas time, and there's no place more beautiful at Christmas time than Brooklyn, New York.
Really?
I don't know what it is about it. Whether it's the light layer of snow covering the bums.
Yeah, the dog do.
The little children. The little children gaily frolicking up and down Flatbush Avenue. Or perhaps it's because Alger Hiss is dead. Some 40 freaking years now. But whatever it is, it's just Christmas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, perennially and every year, I got a tradition. In the Minella household, we go to my mother's house, we gather around a space heater, and I tell them all the story of Christmas as it actually happened to me, rhymes and everything. It goes something like this.
Great.
It was the night before Christmas in Sheepshead Bay.
Right.
Kids was asleep waiting for the big day. The stockings was hung by the furnace with care, in hopes that by morning they would all still be there.
Sure.
Me and this skank was getting ready for bed.
That's nice.
I wore pajamas. She had a paper bag for her head. When up on the roof, I heard this big crash. Thought it was a burglar. I was gonna kick ass.
Oh, sure.
Went out on the fire escape, looked up in the sky, and what did I see? This freaking fat guy with a red suit and boots that came up to his knees. In the moonlight, He looked just like Dom DeLuise. He had this big sled pulled by these reindeer. He called one of them dancer, so I assumed he was queer.
Oh, of course you would. Homophobic geek.
As he crept off the roof, it became clear to me that this guy was looking to steal my TV. Over his shoulder, he had a big sack.
It's not helpful when I interrupt, is it?
He came down the stairs while I planned my attack.
Yeah.
I waited a second till his time seemed ripe and smacked Imus in the back of the head with a freaking pipe. He fell to the floor and said, "Hey, what the heck?" I said, "You're lucky, you bastard, I didn't smack you in the neck." But of course, then the pipe would have bounced off and it would have been a moot point. Actually,
go ahead.
He fell to the floor with a groan and a thud. When I saw who I hit, I near started to cry.
Sure.
I said, "Hey, yo, Santa, I'm sorry, all right? Not for nothing," he said, "but this just ain't my night. I got lost in the Bronx. I ran over some nuns. Had a near miss by Kennedy. Rudolph's got the runs. I'm out all freaking night. I'm busting my hump, but I can't continue now, not with this bump.
No.
So do me a favor. Be a real pal. Take over for me. You'll be Santa Claus, Sal." I said, "I'm from Brooklyn. I ain't right for the part." But he told me that Santa Claus comes from your heart. He made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Stop at every house, except for the Jews. Could you at least pretend you never heard this before? You know, Christmas comes every freaking year, too.
20 years we've been hearing this. Jesus. Go ahead. Except for the Jews.
Right.
Yeah. Why except for the Jews?
Well, because it's regulation. You got to pass over them.
Right.
Shall we go into swear with flair while we're at it?
No. Let's finish this dreadful thing.
I got in the suit and stepped onto the sleigh, wondering why you're not dead today. Took off on my mission, didn't want to be late. While old St. Nick spent the night hosing my date.
Yeah.
That night I was Santa, bringing kids joy and bliss, and if you don't believe me, then yo, jingle this. Since then, I've been with him every year in the cold, riding shotgun with Santa, because he's fat and he's old.
Sure.
Like some people I know. I'm his #1 helper. I've been deputized, so on this Christmas Eve, don't you be surprised. If you hear a voice say really loud and abrupt, "Merry Christmas to all." Nah, 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 nah. Thanks a lot. Shut up.
Sal Minella here on the Imus in the Morning program. Here now, equally dreadful, Lyden and Hopkins. Merry Christmas, baby.
Merry Christmas now, baby. Now, darling, ain't you glad to be home? Merry Christmas now, baby. Darling, ain't you glad to be home? Yeah, we're gonna take our Christmas for ourselves, so we'll know there is nothing wrong. Hang up your stocking. Oh, Santa Claus gonna come to you. Hang up your stocking, do you know? Oh, Santa Claus gonna come to you. I'm gonna buy you something, put it and let him bring. Tell me what else is you gonna do? Is you gonna do?
Briar lint. We made a very festive-looking tree.
Where are you this morning?
I'm out in beautiful New Jersey, the Garden State.
Are you on your car phone? It sounds funny. Why does it sound funny, Bernard?
Cheap phone. Sneaker phone, I think Bill has.
Bill Geist has a sneaker phone. What did you make of the deal? Did you care anything about... How's your book doing, by the way?
It's doing real well. It was held back a little bit by the Diana books, of course. I think we discussed that before. The profiteers from Diana's demise, and Elton John being one of them. Have you got his CD yet?
No, I missed out on that one.
I maintain Elton was one step from Branson when that car went in the tunnel.
For some reason, I don't know. I was watching VH1 for some reason, and they had a retrospective of Mr. John's career, and it's a very depressing saga. God almighty, this guy.
It is. I kind of liked him early on,
But you are right. He was one step from. But I love the induction ceremonies at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when Axl Rose said that he was inspired to found Guns N' Roses when he heard Benny and the Jets, and I thought, is there something I missed during that period? Or
it's like we're doing a wrap-up now. We're looking at tapes from the year, and we just saw, speaking of inspiration, we saw a tape yesterday where Nelson Mandela was standing at a press conference with the Spice Girls and said they were his heroes. Mandela families run into some difficulty lately.
Yeah, they have. No wonder he wanted to stay in prison for 27 years, being married to. Well, she's got to be the original boogie woman, doesn't she?
Married to a murderer. Please don't let me out.
What'd you make of this business over the president's dog? I mean, that's.
Well, it was quite interesting. I felt badly for Tim, of course.
Tim Russell, yeah. Well, I'm sure you did.
Saw the choke chain on the dog and thought they were going to name it Latrell.
You know, well, we're very loyal to Russell, of course.
Oh, yeah. No, he's wonderful.
Yeah, but, man, how foolish. And then, of course, yesterday, that jerk McCurry makes fun of Russell. But what Mike McCurry should remember is that people like you and Tim Russell are going to be around long after he's gone.
Russer, no, he's great. I think, of course, you know, you had Geraldo on. You got to be careful over there if you make a slip up at NBC. You know, you got Geraldo right behind you, ready to take over and put lactose intolerant lesbian nuns on Meet the Press.
Man, there are some people very touchy at NBC News, particularly my friend Mr. Brokaw. I don't know if he's touchy or not, but I asked him if he envisioned. Geraldo filling in on the NBC Nightly News. He said, I thought he was going to have a stroke, you know.
I know it. It's tough.
And
you had Geraldo on your show, though, right?
Yeah, well, he's been a friend of mine for 25 years.
Yeah.
I don't hang out with him, but I mean, I like him, and I would remain loyal to him. But I mean, Geraldo doesn't help himself when he analogizes his coming to NBC to that of Wade Boggs leaving the Boston Red Sox going to the Yankees.
Right, exactly.
Were he more of a fan, he might have employed Babe Ruth, but he probably didn't know that. You know, Wade Boggs was the only one he could think of. So, but then maybe he and Wade had something in common, and they both
that's right.
couldn't remain loyal to their wives, I guess. We're talking with Bill Geist, says 25 till the hour. Mr. Geist works for CBS News, and his book, The Big 5-0, really is laugh out loud funny, and it's available, obviously, at bookstores everywhere. It's published by William Morrow. Or you could get it at Encore Books. I bet you could get it at 40% off at Encore Books. You'll be able to.
Probably so.
Does that eat into my cut?
No, it doesn't.
Good.
When my brother and I's book, Two Guys, Four Corners, went on whenever a book, as you obviously know, you've had books on the New York Times bestseller list. When a book goes on the New York Times bestseller list, Barnes & Noble, and places like Encore Books, and even Amazon.com, they immediately discount bestsellers 30 or 40%.
Right.
And you can always tell when somebody says something to you who's never been to a bookstore in their life except to buy your book. They think that it's like when they discount it 30%, it's like your book has gone into the Kmart dump bin. Like, well, you know, I got your book at 30%, like it's bad, you know.
But yard sales are bad.
Yeah, exactly.
When you see them at yard sales for 50 cents, that's tough.
Maureen Dowd had a couple of columns that were fairly funny, and so did Frank Rich about Al Gore.
Oh, yeah.
Claiming that he and his wife were the inspiration for these two idiot characters in the love story.
Actually, he was the inspiration for a chair in the book. Some of the furniture, I think.
Frank pointed out that what was interesting about it was how culturally tone deaf, Frank's phrase, Al Gore is to think that that's hip to be, I guess.
Love story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like claiming you inspired the Captain and Tennille. So I don't know. What else is new with you?
Not much. I've been following the TV epilepsy thing over in Japan. We're getting ready to go to Japan for the Olympics, so I'm kind of keeping a close watch on everything that's going on in Japan. Did you see that, where the kids freaked out when they watched the show? I get that when I watch Geraldo, actually. TV epilepsy. But I love the name of the show was Pocket Monsters, which I think I saw playing in Times Square.
Pocket Monsters?
They're like trouser bass.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't you think of that, McCoy?
I don't know. Long Dong Silver in Pocket Monsters.
So, well, these Japanese kids are watching a television program, right? And then several hundred of them had to be taken to the hospital?
Exactly. Like I say, it happened.
Man.
It happened on Geraldo's show.
What will you be doing during the Olympics?
It's hard to say. I don't know. It depends on if there's any snow over there or not. There's a little debate about whether they're going to have snow this year. Might have to change some of the events.
Well, because the El Nino do, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, you've been watching Dan on the El Nino.
Yes, I have the El Nino watch.
Yeah, he's more or less fixated on that.
Well, it's like Dan Rather is the program of record for El Nino, much as Geraldo was the program of record for the O.J. Simpson.
That's right. I think he'll blame the Plano hostage situation on El Nino in some way.
Did you happen to see Rather on Larry King last night?
I saw, as a matter of fact, I turned on your show earlier, and I saw you playing that clip. I don't know what to say about that.
We just can't do
Being
that.
a loyal CBS employee.
Yeah, I know. We just can't comment on that.
It's hard to, it's hard to know what to say about something like that.
So there's a chapter in the Big 5-0, your book, on turning Republican.
Yes.
And we have the presidential election coming up. How's that going to impact on you, or is it?
Well, the presidential election coming up, you mean in 3 years?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, as I said in the book, I almost voted Republican last time, thinking that Dole, like Gotti, was a finer human specimen than Clinton. But I don't know. Somebody gave my book to Hillary for her birthday, and she was supposed to send me a thank you note, and never did because there were a lot of snotty things said about the Clintons in the book. But no, there are various signs for when you're turning Republican. If you find Sonny Bono's speeches thought-provoking, that would be a tip. Or if you find yourself remarking on Hillary's calves a lot, that's another sign.
Yeah. The substantial calves that they are, aren't they? It is 21 till the hour. We're talking with Bill Geist. They're segregating. I'm just throwing out little topics here, and if you have any comment. If not, that's fine. Segregating men and women during. Were you in the Army or anything?
Yes, I was. I was a photographer in the Army.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was in Vietnam. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't see any women over there. That's why it's always amazing to me when they build monuments to the Vietnam veterans, the women in Vietnam. I didn't see one the whole time I was there.
How did you wind up as a photographer?
I lied.
You did?
Said I was supposed to be watch radio dials for a year, and I thought I'd go crazy doing that, so I opted for the photography. And then, of course, much to my chagrin, found out that unlike writing stories, the writers could hang out in Saigon and drink cocktails and make up the stories, but the photographers actually had to go out in the field, which was not good.
And actually be there and take the photograph.
Yeah, I hated that part.
You still do any of that?
Some. I enjoyed your book, by the way, very much.
Thank you.
I'm certain that you didn't take all those photographs, did you?
Yeah, I took. Well, my brother and I did.
Yeah.
I took them.
Remarkable photographs. They really are.
Thank you very much. So, Janet Reno, Louis Free, Maureen Dowd has a funny observation about during their testimony there before the House. Was it Dan Burton? Mm-hmm. One of the dumber people ever to wear a suit.
Yes.
God, what a moron. I mean, it's just, oh, Jesus. And then Tom Lantos, who is, who's from the Dan Rather School, there's any moment it's going to explode on you. But Maureen Dowd said it looked as though Mr. Freed was about to jump in Janet Reno's lap.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You have any thoughts on any of that, or do you care?
Well, that one, I don't know. That one's Janet. I think that Janet Reno's a hopeless case, so we kind of turned to the dog story and things like that. It occurred to me that Clinton might have thought that by getting a dog, he could train the dog to herd women to the White House.
Well, he needed to get one of those Shelleys.
Yeah, I think he got the wrong kind.
Well, I hope Charles will tell me about your Christmas wreath that you put together from an old pizza box, and you said earlier. Right?
Yeah, we'd used a pizza box, put a beer can and a tennis ball on it, and some air fresheners from the car wash. You know, those Christmas tree. Make some smell nice.
For the pine scent?
Yeah.
It was laugh out loud.
Had to hang that baby outside.
Yeah.
Don't bring those in the house. What is it with air fresheners anyway?
Well, I don't know.
The whole nation seems to have gotten on the air fresheners now. Is it our diet? What's the problem?
I have no idea. To herd women to the White House, huh? Yeah.
Possibly. It's a little shelty.
Happy holidays, Bill.
Thank you very much. You too.
Yeah, Bill Geist from CBS News. Mr. Geist book, The Big 5-0, published by William Morrow. It is funny. It's available at bookstores everywhere, and it makes a great gift. You could give this to Keith Richards. Mr. Richards is 54 today. So. Or you could give it to Steven Spielberg, who, in fact, is 50 today.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's published by William Morrow. It's available at bookstores everywhere.
Wrong dog.
Uh-huh.
White House. Jeez.
Pocket monsters. Huh? Just a guy says he's on Sunday morning on CBS. I mean, he does outrage. You wouldn't think on Sunday morning, but I mean, the guy's a hidden treasure, I think. Yeah. Anyway, he also performs on the CBS Evening News and reports on the CBS Evening News and perform. And on 48 Hours. I do want to remind you, I'm wearing, for example, this morning here, the Oak Creek Canyon flannel shirt from the Auto Body.
And never have to work. Just travel around from town to town, wherever evil lurks. Cross the Holy Land with rod in hand and sandals on my feet. But I'll stop a while and I'll share a smile with everyone I meet.
Kissing Santa Claus in the Virginia hotel room last night.
Tyson here in the Imus Morning Program. It's 9 minutes now.
It is.
Till the hour. Ed Bradley from 60 Minutes tomorrow. And Ed has an fascinating report that he has done on this town in Louisiana where these folks have been subjected to these to the toxic effects of gas and oil dump site. Mm-hmm. Ed will obviously be able to explain it perhaps a little better, and I have some information back in the office that I will make myself aware of.
Health effects of environmental...
Yeah, serious stuff, and these oil companies, gas companies just ignoring the...
Environmental insult.
Yeah. So, Ed Bradley from 60 Minutes tomorrow here on the Imus Morning Program. It's worth clicking on msnbc.com to read McCord's bio that he wrote, describing his own... Some of it is accurate, but most of it is...
It's all accurate. I wouldn't put anything on that.
Charles is married to his sister,
That's
Connie.
True. Known her all my life.
They have one child whom they deny. His name is Leslie. Mm-hmm. They believe he is in his early 20s, and they know that he is draining the McCord household of all disposable income while attending college in Florida.
What is inaccurate about that statement?
McCord has no hobbies, interests, or outside activities, opting instead to devote all of his energies to formulating the perfect murder of the legendary radio icon for whom he works. That's a little troubling.
Well, it's not inaccurate, though. You will admit that.
So don't you figure Russell, when he reads a reliable source this morning, and I wonder if Claire Shipman was at that briefing yesterday. Probably not, huh?
Nah. What's she
Well,
doing?
we don't want to drag her into it, but
Yeah.
McCurry was sticking it to Russert over Russert being wrong about the name of the dog. And a little short-sighted on McCurry's part because he will be out in the private sector when Mr. Russert is still the Washington Bureau Chief of NBC News and a host of Meet the Press.
Yeah.
MSNBC conducting a poll this morning. How do we here at MSNBC and on the Imus Morning Program overcome the presidential dog fiasco? Russert should resign in disgrace. 23% of the folks responding think that should be the case.
Right.
Clinton should rename the dog Luke. Well, 10% think that would be a possibility or an appropriate resolution for this. But 67% think that Russert should rename his son Buddy.
Perfect.
Yeah. 6 till the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. And, I was going through all of the CDs and albums and stuff I have and looking for the single most depressing Christmas song ever recorded. And here it is from my friend George Jones.
Won't you beckon to a lonely Christmas call? You left a year ago this Christmas, and we're wondering if you miss us. Don't know why you ever left and went away. The kids are lonely here without you. Even wrote old Santa about you. Please don't leave them all alone this Christmas Day. Don't you miss their arms around you?
No.
Do their memories surround you? Don't you know it's not their fault things are this way? Why not show consideration to the ones whose hearts you're breaking? Give them your gift of love this Christmas Day. If you could see their little faces as round the tree they take their places, they're looking for the biggest gift of all. So why not show consideration to the ones whose hearts you're breaking? Won't you beckon to our lonely Christmas call?
The great George Jones here on the Imus in the Morning program.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine?
And then Rather's response is just so absolutely excruciatingly lame.
Cringe time.
Patronizing and disingenuous. And you know Rather's not a phony. We know that. I mean, he's really not.
No, he's the man.
He is. He's a real deal.
He is.
But he has this unfortunate habit of saying these patronizing things to people. He does it to me occasionally, and I mean it's irritating. Do we have that tape?
Yes, we do.
Roll it.
Be at this moment. Is this the best job you've had at CBS anchoring this news? Is it better than the White House? Is it better than 60 Minutes?
Larry, you're so good. I can't say that. Each time I've thought I've been
Shut it off. Shut it off. Oh, Larry, you're so good. Well, why would what is good about that? So you already know that Rather shows up there prepared to say that about some question. Because I've had people do it to me, and I resent it. They say, well, that's a good question, I-man. Shut up. It's not a good question. It's stupid.
Just answer it.
Just answer it.
Well, even
I'm
that.
not looking for you to...
but even that is a better response. Even to say, oh, that's a good question.
I mean, when I've been interviewed, I have said that to people only when it's a good question. Or something that I don't have an answer for, which is most of them.
But, Larry, you're so good.
How is that good? I mean, that's horrible. You can't do that.
It shivers down my back. Oh.
Come on.
So Lupica calls and he's screaming on the phone. Neither one of us have to say what the other one's watching because we know. So, well, then why would he do that?
I don't know. It's almost like you said. It's almost like it's a habit thing. It's just...
Well, he's trying to be nice.
Well, he's the perfect gentleman. Everybody knows that about him.
But Larry doesn't require that. And it just,
Oh, Larry, you're so good.
Oh, Larry, you're so good. Well, how is that good? That's an obvious question, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it funny? Where's the talent coming with?
Is it insightful?
Do you prefer working at the White House?
60 Minutes or anchoring the news? Oh, Larry, you're so good.
You're a good one, Hoss.
God almighty. Yeah, way to go. Tampa Mud solid, Hoss.
Here's the knee pads. Why don't you finish it off?
Now, Rather appears on this program on a regular basis. And I like him, and I admire him. I'm happy he's doing well over there with the hard news. Well, I also would remind Dan that the NBC nightly news is still number one. I don't think it's time to start writing everybody off when we're tying ABC for number two. I know there wasn't any phone call. I don't like other people attacking Russia. It's all right if we do, but.
What were the little things? Do it again.
No, that's not true. You were the one. Charles was so happy.
Let's bludgeon him.
Charles was so happy that Russert had it wrong. You said, and I tell the truth.
What?
You said it doesn't get any better than this. Didn't you say that? Did you say that or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Did you say it?
Imus, you're so good.
That's exactly what you said.
I said
it doesn't get any better than this.
I said, and I added, I think, to that, yes, there is a God.
Absolutely.
Well, we had discussed it at length.
The thing that irritated us about it was that CNN had it right. That little.
Wait.
Flare up.
Leave him over there. Your hot dogs are here, boss.
No.
Put them right out.
No.
After the sport.
No. There's no hot dogs, Bernard. I ordered a bagel.
Bernard.
Just wrap them in the aluminum.
Bernard.
That's not funny, Bernard.
It's not even. You know
What's
what?
up?
I don't even care anymore because it's not even worth commenting or arguing with him anymore. Because, like he told you before, his thumbs are sore from trying to button his pants.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
There's a picture of her now on MSNBC with one of those denim shirts on, and
Yeah.
she looks pretty good, doesn't she?
She looks hot.
Oh, hey, baby.
Come on.
Come on over here.
No.
Anyway, call Fred, 1-800-272.
Idiots.
1-800-272.
Two old fools.
Yeah, two old fools, hey, baby. 1-800-272-1957.
So that's your secret.
In the morning.
98.1 The.
Your cheating heart will make you weep. You'll cry and cry and try to sleep.
I hate to be the one sticking the rat tail in the Happy Meal, especially at this festive time of year, but I'm having some difficulty getting into the holiday spirit when one of the hosts of those happy, feel-good morning shows has such a bad attitude. As irritating as she can be, even Kathy Lee Gifford has mellowed after her near-death experience on that bumpy airplane flight, although I, along with about 100 Central American preschoolers, would have preferred she'd done an Amelia Earhart. But apologies to Snow White and the other 6 dwarves, that Katie Couric is just plain grumpy. Not that she's even close to the reading on the irritation meter held by Al Gore. She's just a caraway seed under your bridge work, compared to the sucking chest wound we now call Vice President. But still, I'd rather get a shot of full-blown anthrax in my butt than watch the Today Show these days, I'll tell you what. I used to think it was a toss-up as to who was the more tedious, that pretty boy suit dummy Matt Lauer, the fat, bald meteorology Mo Willard, or cranky little news gnome Katie. And I use the term news loosely, because I wouldn't exactly call interviewing Martha Stewart about Advent wreaths cutting-edge journalism. But after the rude reception she gave Imus in the morning the other day, Katie takes the cake. I'm convinced the surly little twink needs a serious course in basic manners. Hey, it's not Imus's fault Jane Pauley's got the legitimate job, and you're stuck talking to Jack Hanna about the molting habits of the milk snake. She should be happy she's lucky enough to have that gig, because the one she's most qualified for is on a game show. And not even in a Vanna White capacity, because she'd need to have a working knowledge of the alphabet to do that. One of those tabula rasa spokesmodels who point out the features of the grand prize dishwasher is about her speed. although she would need to wear some platform shoes and drop about 40 pounds. I guess the most irritating thing about her is that she's got such a big head. And I'm not talking ego here. I mean, the woman has an unsettlingly large noggin. It defies the laws of known science. I always wondered why she chooses to wear that Bob's Big Boy haircut. Well, now I realize it's a vain attempt to disguise the fact that she's got a preternaturally prodigious pate. Cabeza grandissima. No wonder she's so prickly. It's going to take her the majority of the coming year to find a hat big enough to wear at the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Hank Hill here on the Imus in the Morning program. Not a big yuck finish there, but I mean, I have some good points from Hank Hill. Then Matt Lauer and Katie Couric.
No. Two idiots.
And what was Katie? What is her? What is her problem?
Like Ross Perot said, trying to prove her